Hey guys, Neely here, and I am coming in today for another Instant Pot recipe. This recipe is dairy-free potato soup with bacon. It's one of the meals that my family has been enjoying while we're doing the Whole30 this month. So it is Whole30 compliant for those of you that are interested in that, but it's also delicious even if you're not on Whole30. So I am going to get started. I got all of my ingredients back there. And my Instant Pot is hot because the first thing I am going to do is slice up that bacon into little pieces and get it all crisped up, and then I will remove it from the pan and drain the excess bacon fat, and I will save the bacon for at the end to sprinkle on the bowls of soup. So I turned my Instant Pot on saute mode. I just hit the saute button and then I hit the adjust button to the more level of heat. When you turn it on just to saute, it'll go to normal, but I wanted it to be even hotter to crisp up the bacon well, so I pressed adjust and got the highest level of heat. While my bacon is crisping up, I'm going to go ahead and prep my vegetables. I have about 4 pounds of potatoes. You can use any kind of potatoes. I just have red ones. This time I did the last batch with Yukon Gold potatoes, and they work great as well. I have 3 large ribs of celery, 3 large carrots, and half of a large onion. I'm just gonna chop all this stuff up and get it ready to throw in. This bacon, the crisping of the bacon is probably the most labor-intensive, time-intensive part of the process. It takes a while, and if you are in a time crunch, you can crisp it up in like a larger pan on the stove that has like a wider bottom. It will cook faster. It does take a little while in the Instant Pot. This is the 6-quart version. If you have the 8-quart, I'm sure it would cook faster, but this is the 6-quart, and since it's not super wide, it does take a little while to get it all the way crispy. So like I said, if you're in a time crunch, go ahead and do it on the stove. Here's my bacon. It got all crisped up. It took around 15 to 20 minutes. But I'm still not even done chopping all the vegetables, so it worked out time-wise just fine. I have a whole bunch of bacon fat here that I don't want in my soup, so I am going to get rid of all but about 1 to 2 tablespoons there. And you can see all that brown on the bottom is going to give incredible flavor to the soup, so I'm definitely not getting rid of that. And this is my little bacon fat jar. This was an old tea infuser from a cup that broke, and I just used that as my bacon fat jar, and then I can use that bacon fat for roasting vegetables and other recipes that come along throughout the week. My Instant Pot is still very hot, and I have my little bit of oil left in there, and now I'm going to dump in my onions and celery and get those browned a little bit. And if you are in a time crunch, you can skip this step and go ahead and just add these vegetables in with all the other ingredients like we'll do here in a minute. But if you do have the time, just giving them a quick saute, letting them get a little brown and get the onions a little translucent, it'll just give a little more flavor to the recipe. The onions and celery have been cooking for about 4 or 5 minutes, and now it is time to just add in all the rest of the ingredients except for one. So I'm going to add my chopped up potatoes and my diced up carrots and 2 cups of broth. This is broth that I made in the Instant Pot, and you can see it's like serious jello. That was quite entertaining. And I have 1 cup of coconut milk. This is full fat coconut milk. It is not the cartoned version that you find in the refrigerated section at the grocery store. It is the full fat version. Also, I wanted to mention, if you are not interested in dairy-free, you can use cream or half and half instead of the coconut milk, but you want to make sure that you add that at the end after cooking. Now I have my spices. I'll show you what I have in here. I have a half a teaspoon of black pepper. I have a teaspoon of granulated onion powder, and I have a teaspoon of garlic powder and a teaspoon of salt. And also, I already put it away, I have 1/4 of a teaspoon of the crushed red pepper. And if you like a little bit of spice to your meals, that you can add more of the crushed red pepper, but you just want to be careful if you don't like the spice, just to add a little bit for the flavor, but not too much to make it spicy. And of course, all of these spices are adjustable at the end. You'll taste it and decide if it needs more, or, well, I guess you can't decide if it needs less of something, but you'll decide if it needs more of something and you can add it at that point. So I'm just gonna put this in here and then I'm gonna give it a quick stir. Then the last thing I'm gonna add here is 1 cup of water. I just used the same cup as the coconut milk, which is why it doesn't look completely clear. But I just want I don't want the liquid to be covering all of the potatoes. But I just want it to be a little bit higher so that we have enough liquid in here for the soup. But I don't. If you put so much in that it's covering the potatoes, you'll end up with a much soupier of a soup. And we prefer to have more of a stew type thick soup. So total of 4 cups of liquid, the 2 cups of broth, 1 cup of coconut milk, and 1 cup of water. So now it is time to seal it up and turn on the pressure. I'm going to close it here, make sure it's on sealing, and then it's still on saute mode that I had it on before, so I have to cancel that. So I'll hit cancel, and then I will turn it on manual for 15 minutes. And I will let it do its thing for 15 minutes. And then after it's finished cooking, I have 1 more ingredient to add. And I will show you that when the Instant Pot is done. All right, it has finished its cooking time and it has been on keep warm mode for 10 minutes. And I wanted to let the pressure come down naturally for a little while because it was so full. I didn't want to do a quick pressure release. With it that full, it would, might make a mess and splatter boiling hot soup everywhere, which is not something that we want. So I let it cool down for 10 minutes and I'm going to let off the residual pressure there. And then I am going to add in my last ingredient, which is the thickener. I am using sweet potato flour. This is, because I am on Whole30, I'm using this as a thickener. You can also use arrowroot flour if you are on Whole30. And have that, or if you're not on Whole30, you can use a cornstarch. I'm doing 3 tablespoons of this. I just mixed 3 tablespoons with about 1/4 cup of water. Here's what it looks like after just opening the Instant Pot. So I'm going to go ahead and add my sweet potato starch mixed with water and just mix that in real quick and let it sit for a minute and see how thick it gets. I can always add more if I need more, but 3 tablespoons should be plenty. And at this point, I can just go ahead and taste it and see if it needs any more seasoning, and then dish it out into the bowls and sprinkle on the bacon, and it is ready to go. And here's the finished product. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you try it and let me know what you think. I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye, guys.